Okay, so hello everyone. I hope you are doing well. Hello Nilesh. Hello Sky. Yes, the Telegram channel will upload the PPT by the evening. And please first of all confirm whether I'm audible to you or not. That is the first thing. Am I audible to everyone? Just give a thumbs up in the chat box. Great. Thank you so much, Nilesh, for the confirmation. So, hello everyone. Welcome to SEBI Grade A 2024 Mega Revision Series, where I'm going to give you different MCQs with respect to your preparation, and you have to write down the answer of those MCQs in the chat box. So, let us begin with the session without wasting any time. So, the Telegram, you can join our Telegram channel where we will upload the PPT of this session. So the first question for today is, with reference to inflation in India, which of the following statements is correct? Now write down the answer in the chat box. The first is, controlling the inflation in India is the responsibility of Government of India only. The Reserve Bank of India has no role in controlling the inflation. Decreased money circulation keeps in controlling the inflation, and increased money circulation helps in controlling the inflation. So what do you think is the correct answer? Nilesh is saying C. What about the others? Nachiketa is also saying C. Kanchi C. Mayank C. Everyone is writing C as the correct answer. Okay, so let me explain. So yes, C is the correct answer of this question. And why C is the correct answer? As we discussed this type of question yesterday also, what happens in case of inflation? The money supply in the economy increases. So how can we reduce it? By decreasing the money circulation in the economy. And how the money circulation can be decreased? Through different type of measures that happen in the economy. For example, the monetary policy operations which are done by the RBI, in which RBI pumps out the extra money that is there in the market. So different type of measures are there to control the inflation, but the main principle is the decreased money circulation. I hope it is clear to you, and all of you have given the right answer. Now let us see the next question. So C is the correct option. This is the explanation that you can read through the PDF. Which of the following statements are correct? Progressive method of taxation is considered as a pro-board taxation. In progressive taxation, rate of taxation increases with increase in income. In regressive taxation, rate of tax increases with decrease in income. Mark the correct answer. Nilesh is saying B. Nachiketa is saying D. What about others? Please write your answer. Whatever you think is the right answer. If you do not know the answer, if you intend to leave any question in the examination, you can write I don't know. But please participate. Okay, most of you are writing D. Only Nilesh is writing B. So let us discuss the answer of this question. The answer of this question, let me read the question for you. Progressive method of taxation is considered as a pro-poor tax. That is correct, the right option. Then in progressive taxation, the rate of tax increases with increase in income. This is also a correct option, and because of this, the first option is justified. Since the rate of taxation increases with the increase in income, that is why it is considered as a pro-poor taxation. Why? Because those people who are earning more, they will pay more tax, whereas those who are earning less, they will pay less tax. And the income and the tax that will be collected from the people of the upper strata who are earning more, so more tax will be collected from them. Then what will be done with the tax? That revenue from the tax is going to be redistributed in the society by the government in the form of different investments through the infrastructure, through different type of schemes and all such type of policies. So what happens? That's why it is considered as a pro-poor taxation. Now the last option, in regressive taxation, rate of tax increases with decrease in income. So this is the opposite of the progressive taxation. If the income increases, then your tax level is going to decrease, and that is why no country would like to adopt this regressive taxation system. So that is the idea regarding it. So the correct answer is going to be the D option. Fine. Now let us move on to the next one. Which among the following is the type of direct tax? Now answer this question. Take your time, do not be in hurry. Yes, Nilesh, regressive taxation is decrease in tax as income increases. Okay, Nilesh is saying something else. Let me clarify the confusion for Nilesh. But let me solve this question first. Then we will come to Nilesh's doubt. So most of you, what is your answer? Third, D, E, D, B, D, E. So different. Okay, Bhakti has just deleted her message. I mean the answer in the chat box. So D, B and E. Three types of answers I'm getting. So the correct answer for this question is going to be yes. Security transaction tax is a type of direct tax. Then if we start eliminating the options, so what could be the next type of direct tax? The capital gains is also a type of direct tax. MAT is also a type of direct tax. Then many of you would be confused between option 3 and option 4. So commodity transaction tax is also a form of direct tax, whereas the custom duty that is used for the import and export purposes, that is a form of indirect tax. It is not a direct tax. So E is going to be the correct answer for this question. Now let me come to the Nilesh doubt. Nilesh's doubt is that in case of regressive taxation, what was the statement? Sir, regressive taxation decreases as income increases. That is true. But the other side is also true. See, if this is the income level of different type of individuals, fine, these are the people who are earning high. So those people who are earning more, whose income is more, their tax is going to be less. But those whose income is less, their tax is going to be high. So vice versa situation is also going to be true, and that is why C is also the correct option. So your whatever hypothesis that you are giving, that is true, but the vice versa of that is also true. So that is why C is also the correct option. I hope, Nilesh, I was able to clear your doubt. Fine. Now let us move on to the next question, which is the fourth one. Who among the following acts as the chairperson of GST Council? Very easy and straightforward question. And if you have read about GST Council, a very important council with respect to the GST topic, you would be knowing the answer. Great, Nilesh. Nilesh is saying B. What about others? Okay, others have also marked B as the correct answer. So yes, B is the correct answer of this question, which is the finance minister. Finance minister is the person who acts as the chairperson of GST Council. Now, can you tell me, if the decision has to be passed from the GST Council, what is the percentage of votes are to be needed? What is the majority of the votes are to be needed in order to decision to be passed from the GST Council? Let me see how many of you answer this question in the chat box. Yes. Snehal and Nilesh both have given the right answer. It is 75%, which is 3/4. Now tell me just an additional question for your practice, since we are revising. Tell me that in case of the decision making, when the votes are being made in the GST Council, what is the vote percentage for the central government and the state government? Or you can tell in the fraction also regarding the vote percentage of the central government and the state government. Take your time and answer the question. We are just revising, so I think it is a great idea if we start asking the random questions also. Snehal has given the answer. Siddharth has given the answer. Please also write S and C also, so that I could know for which you are giving what fraction. 2/3 for state and 1/3 for center. Yes, this is the right answer given by Snehal and Nilesh. Mayank, not 1/3 by state, it is 2/3 by state and 1/3 by the center. So that is the idea regarding the GST Council, an important component for your exam. Fine. Now let us move on to the next question. So the next question is, how many banks were nationalized in the year 1969? Tell me, how many banks were nationalized? An important question with respect to the history of banking systems in India. So tell me, how many banks were nationalized in the year 1969? Because there were two phases of nationalization, if you have covered that part. I'm talking about the phase of 1969. Okay, everybody is writing D, which is 14. Anyone else who wants to give a different answer? Okay, everyone is writing D. So D is the correct answer, which is 14. Can you tell me under whose government these banks were nationalized in 1969? Who was the prime minister at during that period of our country? Take your time and answer or give the right answer. Think about it. 1969. Very important year. Yes. Indira Gandhi. Great. Correct answer. Now let us move on to the next question. So D is the correct answer. And now let us move on to the next part, which is sixth question. UPI is monitored by which of the following institutions? And for your kind information, this question has been asked in SEBI Phase 1 2018. So see, such an easy question was asked. So please answer it. Very easy question. And in case if you are somebody who does not know the answer, don't write the answer just because other people are also writing the same answer. Just simply write, I do not know. Maintain that honesty, and trust me, it is going to help you in the long run. Okay, so sixth, A, everybody is writing A. So yes, NPCI is the right answer for this question. UPI is monitored by the National Payment Corporation of India. Fine. Now let us move on to the next question. This is the explanation part. You can read it from the PDF. Now, the seventh question, which of the following is not a fund-based transaction? And this question was asked in RBI Grade B, Phase 2 2019. So, I provide you different types of questions from different exams so that you get a good idea regarding the depth of the questions that are asked in the exam from different topics. So, for the seventh question, Snehal is writing D, Siddharth D, Nachiket D, Mayank D, everyone writing D. Sky is writing LOC. Yes, LOC, fine. Okay, everybody has marked the correct answer, which is the D option. Those of you who could not find the answer is D. The thing is that there are actually two types of funds, two types of transactions. The first is the fund-based and the second is non-fund based. Fund-based transactions are those where banking institutions are directly involved in the funding mechanism. So For example, the cash credit, the demand deposit, the recurring deposit, all such type where the banks are giving the credit, all such type of things are a form of fund-based mechanism where the direct dealing is with the fund. But when we talk about the non-fund-based mechanism, here bank is primarily acting as a guarantor. For example, the letter of credit which is used for the international transaction, we have the back guarantee also, then underwriting, all such type of things are a form of non-fund based transactions. I hope it is clear to you. Now let us see the next question. What type of ATMs are completely owned and managed by the non-banking entities? So answer this question. Yes, Divya, you are correct. Everybody is writing white label B, B, B. If you do not know, simply write IDK. Okay, so most of you, I mean not most but all of you have marked the correct answer, which is the B. So the difference between the brown label and the white label is that there are other differences also, but primarily with respect to our question, in case of brown label banks, the cash is provided by the bank, and in white label also the cash is provided by the bank. But in case of brown label bank, what happens, the cash is also managed by the banks, but in case of white label, the cash is managed by the non-banking entity. Fine, so that is the primary difference. Other difference is that this is not labeled by any specific type of bank, that is why it is considered as white, and whereas brown is labeled by the labeling of a banking entity. So that is the primary difference between the brown banks and the white banks. I hope it is clear to you. Fine, so this is the explanation. You can go through it. Other options are very much easy to eliminate. The green label ATMs for the agriculture, pink is for women, and it is none of above. Very easy option to eliminate. So that's how you can reach the right answer. Fine, now let us move on to the next question. Which of the following is the non-negotiable instrument? Okay, so here we are getting few mixed answers. Let me read it. A, B, Nilesh is writing A, Snehal B, Piyush B, Siddharth B, Mayank C. Different type of answers. Sky has just deleted his answer. I know Sky, your answer was check. So Pratiksha B, 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 A, E, D, B, D, B. Now Sky has changed his answer to B. That's fine. I mean, you have that flexibility in the examination also before you press the submit button. So great. Now, which of the following is a non-negotiable instrument? In order to know that, firstly you need to know what are negotiable instruments. Negotiable instruments are the ones that are transferable through guarantee. These two keywords, if you know these two keywords, you will never mark your answer as incorrect. Why guarantee? Because in the negotiable instrument, we know that from whom to whom the transaction is taking place. So there is some form of guarantee in form of the negotiable instrument, and also they are transferable in nature. So when we talk about the demand draft, they are negotiable, bills of exchange are negotiable, check very easily negotiable, name of the pay is written, then promissory notes, which are acts as a promise that I am going to pay that money to you after a certain point of time, that are also promise, they are also transferable, acts as a certain form of guarantee. But when we talk about the currency notes, they are not the negotiable instruments. If somebody steals your 10 rupee note, who has the ownership of that note? The person in whose pocket that note is in. So this currency note is not transferable in nature. It is not backed by any type of guarantee. Whoever holds the currency note becomes the owner of that note. So that's why currency note is a non-negotiable instrument. It is not negotiable in nature. So that's why B is the correct answer of this question. Fine. So this is the explanation. You can just go through it in the PDF. Now the next part, what type of check can be cashed by anyone who presents it to the banks? Most of you are writing B. If somebody wants to write a different answer, you can do that also. Okay. Journey with J is also writing B. Kanchi or Kanchi. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce, but Amisha, Siddharth, Mayank, Nachiketa, Disha, everybody is writing B. Shrishti is writing B. Fine. So B is the correct answer to this question. So what happens in case of bearer checks? It can be cashed by anyone who presents it to the bank. And that is the reason why these bearer checks are risky in nature. Because whoever will hold this bearer check, they can cash it. They can encash it in the bank. Not much restrictions apply, and that is why the answer to this question is a bearer check. There are other type of checks also that you can read it through your sources from your books. For example, the cross checks, the order check. If you talk about cross checks, it cannot be encashed. The money can only be deposited in the bank account. So different type of checks are there. You can read about it, but the correct answer to the question is the bearer check, which is very much risky in nature and can be uncashed by anyone. Fine. So now let us move on to the 11th question. In the letter of credit transaction, who is typically the advising bank? This question was not asked in RBI. I forgot to eliminate this part. So just an outside question for you. So tell me, who in a letter of credit, who is typically the advising bank? Read the question carefully, then answer the question. Pratiksha has written A. Okay. Mayank has written IDK. Mayank, I really respect your honesty. That's great. So it's a tip for you guys that if you do not know any question and that question is very much factual in nature, it's better you leave that question so that the negative marks are not awarded to you. But if you think that you have read that topic somewhere and there are chances that you can eliminate the options and can reach the answer, then go for it. But if you do not know it, you do not have any knowledge about that topic, simply leave that part. because there are other questions also. Your aim is not to mark all the answers correctly. Your aim is to clear the cutoff. So keep that in mind. Nachiketa skip, Sky Trader skip. Sorry, Sky Trader B. Everyone who does not want to answer, simply write skip. Okay, so let me move on to the next, the explanation of this question first. So when we talk about the letter of credit, typically there are three types of banks involved. Fine. The first type is the issuing bank. The second type is advising bank. And the third type is negotiating bank. Fine. I'm going to explain very briefly. Issuing bank's role is to issue the letter of credit. Suppose if you are a person who wants to make any type of transaction just because you received some goods from the foreign country. So letter of credit, we all know it happens at the international level. So you have purchased goods from the foreign country, and what you have to do, you have to make the payment in return. But what you do, instead of making the payments in advance, you issue the letter of credit, which acts as a guarantee. You are going to issue the letter of credit through your issuing bank. The issuing bank is going to issue the letter of credit on behalf of you. So Pratiksha had given the answer A earlier, I remember. So option A is for the issuing bank. Fine, this is done by the issuing bank. Now, when this issuing bank will send the documents with respect to the letter of credit, then this letter of credit will be received by the advising bank. Fine. Now, advising bank is going to receive the letter of credit, and the job of the advising bank is to authenticate, to check the authentication with respect to a letter of credit, and to notify the beneficiary. Who is the beneficiary? The person who is going to sell the good. So he is going to notify this person that a letter of credit has been received for your name, and these are the terms and conditions of the letter of credit, and he will give the letter of credit to this person. Now, what this person is going to do, he will give this letter of credit. What he is going to do, since he have received the letter of credit, now he is going to give the different type of documentations to the negotiating bank. The negotiating bank will examine, he is going to verify everything, and what he is going to do, then he is going to connect to the issuing bank. And when he will connect to the issuing bank will see everything, then they are going to make the payment to the negotiating bank, and then the negotiating bank will give the payment to this beneficiary who had sent the good. This is the idea behind the letter of credit. So sometimes the scenario can also be that this advising bank and this negotiating bank can be same, but when the question is asking separately, it means the question is considering about the three parties, which is the three types of banks. So this is something that you can keep in your mind. So the correct option is going to be the B option, the bank that authenticates and notifies the beneficiary regarding the letter of credit, and the bank that negotiates the payment, it is going to be the negotiating bank. So three types of banks are involved in this case. Examination is also done by the negotiating bank. Fine. So second option belongs to the advising bank, and I hope it is clear to you. Fine. Now I hope you got a clarity. Now let us move on to the 11th question. This is what you can read through here in the PDF. Now the 12th question. Which subsidiary of RBI is responsible for ensuring cyber resilience of the Indian banking sector? Now answer this question. Very easy. Nilesh has written C. Nachiketa has written B. You have 15 seconds left. C and B, two type of answers. Journey with Jay is saying skip. Okay. Jay, it's good that you are skipping, but just let me tell you that you are expected to answer this question. Why? Because this question is very much straightforward in nature, and if somebody who is prepared this topic of banking system in a good manner, then he should be in a position to answer this question, because this question is very much straightforward in nature. If you will read the banking sector, you are going to encounter this topic. So I would tell you to go to your books, to your sources, to your advanced books, and read this topic in a detailed manner. Fine, you can take it as a homework. Okay, B. Only one option is C, which is of Nilesh. Fine. So the correct answer is going to be the B. Rebate is nothing but is the IT arm of the RBI. So it is one of the subsidiaries of RBI, and with respect to the cyber security measures, this is the responsibility of rebate to make sure that it can provide cyber security resilience to the banking system. The Nilesh's answer was IFTAs. IFTA also performs similar type of role, but the difference is that rebate is basically the IT cells that performs the cyber security measures, cyber resilience measures. But when we talk about IFTA, IFTAs is basically linked to the innovation. For example, you know RTGS, that is controlled by this IFTAs. You know SFMS, just the domestic version of the SWIFT that we use at the international level. SFMS is at the domestic level. That is the innovation of IFTAs. So now you have understood the difference between the rebate and IFTAs. Then when the question is about this, that with respect to the financial technology, all such type of thing, this is going to be the IFTAs. But there is another entity that might confuse you, which is RBI Innovation Hub. The purpose of RBI Innovation Hub is purely innovation. For example, you must have heard about this initiative, Public Tech Platform for Frictionless Credit. Who has brought this initiative? That is by the RBIH, which is RBI Innovation Hub. So that is the difference between all these things. So the first one is related to cyber resilience. The second one is related to mainly the fintech. And the third one is the primary role is the innovation only. So that is the idea regarding it. Now let us move on to the 13th question, which is, who is the supervisor of regional rural banks in India? Yes, Nilesh, I explained the difference between both of them. So who is the supervisor of RRBs in India? Everybody is writing B is the answer. And who regulates it? Who is the regulator? Is the NABARD also the regulator? Yes. The regulator is going to be the RBI. So regulator is the RBI and supervisor is the NABARD. How you can remember it? Just for the sake of memory, R for regulator and R for RBI. So the second one is supervisory role, which is by NABARD. Fine. So this is how you can remember it. And I hope it is clear to you. And regional rural banks, we discussed different facts regarding regional rural banks in the yesterday's class also. Now let us move on to the next question, which is the 14th one. Which of the following institution is also known as lender of last resort? Everybody is writing C. Nobody wants to write E. Okay, so C is the right option, which is RBI. Now my additional question to you is, RBI acts as lender of resort to whom? Okay, I'm giving you three options. Okay, I will frame a question just now. I'm giving you three options. Write A, B, C in the chat box. The first is A, to the banks, B, to the government, and C, to both banks plus government. So mark the right answer. RBI acts as lender of last resort to whom? Now let me see what is your answer. If it is banks, if it is government, or it is both A and B. So mark your answer A, B and C. What do you think is the right answer? Some of you are writing both, some of you are writing C, some of you are writing A. I'm getting the mixed responses. Okay, so now let me come to the explanation part. So what do we mean by lender of last resort? That is the first question. Lender of last resort means when in a country any different type of banks suffer the financial constraints, any type of difficulty with respect to their financial mechanism, where sometimes the bank may also come to an end, for example the PNB. So what happens in this in that case is that RBI comes into action, and then RBI helps these banking systems to re-establish. It helps the bank to again improve its financial mechanism. So that is the idea that is performed by the RBI. But the thing is that when the question is asked RBI as a lender of last resort, then the answer is RBI acts as a lender of last resort to whom? It acts as a lender of last resort to banks only, not with respect to the government. So that is the answer that you are going to mark in your exam also. If the question comes RBI acts a lender of last resort to whom, the answer is going to be the banks, not the government. It does not act lender of last resort to the government. Fine, though there can be the mechanism through which, for example, the ways and mean advances, where the government can go and take the loan from the RBI. But when we use the lender of last resort term, that is used specifically when the RBI helps the bank to help the banking institutions to improve their financial mechanisms in their prudence. So that is the idea. I hope it is clear to you. Fine, not to the government. So C is the answer of this question. Now let us move on to the next question. In the HAM model, the support provided by the government during the construction phase and later, somebody is writing, Disha is writing to government. Disha, the information that I'm giving you, the source of the information is the NCRT. It has been mentioned in the NCRT. Okay, so the question RBI acts a lender of last resort to whom, the answer is the banks only, not the government. And if I talk about the other competitive exams also, in the UPSC also a few years back this question was asked, I think 1 to 2 years ago, and the answer of this question was the banks only. Fine, I hope now you have a better clarity. So now let us move on to the next question, 15th one. In the HAM model, the support provided by the government during the construction phase and later in annuities during the operation phase will be in the ratio of. So tell me the ratio with respect to HAM model, very important model with respect to the public-private partnership. Pratiksha is saying skip. That's great. This question, if you do not know the answer, simply skip it. Do not attempt it. Very much factual question. What you are going to think about it? Either you know or you do not know. Fine. So mark the answer, whatever you think is right. (15th) Himanshu George, 15th C. Nilesh is also saying 15th C. Okay, everyone is writing C as the answer. So yes, C is the correct answer of this question. Now an extended question from this topic. First is 40. The second is 60. Now tell me 40 is for which construction model and 60 is for which PPP model. Tell me 40 and 60 is for which type of both the projects or the models that, because we know HAM is known as what? HAM is known as hybrid annuity model. So it is a hybrid of two models. So you have to tell me what two models are there, are those, and 40 and 60 belongs to which of them. You have to answer this. Right, 40 in the bracket the model, then 60 in the bracket the model. Fine, this is how you can answer in the chat box. Take your time and type. I'm giving you around 20 seconds. Yes, you can type just like Siddharth did. I mean, you can type your answer, whatever you think is the answer. 40 and 60. So you can write A plus B, whatever 40 and 60 stands for. If you do not know, write IDK. Okay, Nilesh has given the opposite answer with this as compared to Siddharth. Siddharth has written EPC was plus bot. Nilesh is writing bot plus EPC. So other aspirants, what do you think is the answer? Write your answer in the chat box. If you do not know, write IDK. Okay, others do not want to participate or you do not know the answer, that's perfectly fine. If we talk about the HAM model, fine, let me just erase it a bit. So if we talk about the HAM model, so HAM model is hybrid annuity model. So what happens in case of hybrid annuity model is that it is a hybrid of two models, as the name suggests. The first is the EPC and the second is bot. But which type of bot? Bot annuity, not the bot toll. Please keep it in mind, not the bot toll, but bot annuity. The difference is that in case of bot, I'm telling you very briefly, otherwise, we will deviate from our objective of solving the questions. This is a lengthy topic. So just give you a brief idea so that you can revise it when you will read your books. So the first component is EPC, the second is the bot annuity. What happens in case of EPC is that the 40% of the cost of the project is paid during EPC. Now the 60% that is left, what is with the 60%? So it means 40% is paid during EPC, engineering, procurement, construction period, and when the project is constructed, then the bot will be started, and then the 60% of the project will be paid during the bot. But how does it make a difference? Because this is not bot toll, this is bot annuity. So what happens? The 60% of the payment will be paid in annuity. Annuity means when it is paid in the form of installments. Fine. So that is where the difference lies, because here during the 40% of the cost has been given as a one-time payment from the government to the private body who has done the project, and the 60% in the form of installments, and that's how private body is able to recover its investments, whatever investments and the money that it has pumped into that certain project. That's how the hybrid annuity model works, and that's why we call it hybrid annuity model. Annuity means in the form of installments, which is the 60%. I hope it is clear to you. Fine. So we are done with the HAM also. We have revised this topic enough. Now the 16th question. What is the name of the model under PPP in which private player is fully responsible for construction, operation and maintenance of the project, provides working capital, investment, and is also responsible for the profit loss, but the ownership is with the public sector? Now mark your answers. Read the question properly and mark your answers. So let me see your answers. 16C, C, somebody is writing 5, which is boot. 3. Okay, if you do not know, write IDK so that I get the idea that you guys are participative, you are interactive, you are active in the chat box. Then I will move on to the explanation part. Fine. So let me tell you the answer of this question. First, let me read the question. Okay, let me tell you the answer. The answer is concessions. Now, when we talk about the explanation of this question, the most important keyword that will lead you to the answer in this question is the investment. And if you have covered this topic in a detailed manner, in a right manner, then you would be knowing that the lease contract and the concession are very much related to each other, because both are a type of delegated mechanism, delegated public-private partnership. What happens in case of that? The responsibility is transferred from the government body to the private body. But where lies the difference? The difference is that in this case of lease, if any additional investment has to be done in that private project, that will not be done by, the burden will not be borne by the private party. The private party is given the responsibility to manage the project, to operate the project for a specified period of time. But if any additional facility has to be added, if any additional investment has to be done, for example, if it is a hospital, the private party is managing the hospital, it is operating the hospital. But if any additional investment has to be added in the hospital, that burden will not be borne by the private party, which is nothing but the lease agreement. Now, there are a few other complexities also that I cannot discuss everything over here. So I'm giving you just a brief idea so that you can understand the difference. The next is the concession. What happens in case of concession? The difference between lease contract in case of PPP and the concession contract is that if any additional investment has to be done, then that responsibility will be taken by the private party only. But in lease contract, that will be taken by the government. The private party is not going to be involved. So the key word here was the investment. And that is why the option D is the correct answer. I'm happy that many of you gave the wrong answers, because you will be able to learn something new. Now, the D, this is the details regarding the concessions, and this is the investment, providing the necessary capital for both initial and the ongoing operations. So different type of investments where the private party is involved. Then the Financial Stability and Development Council is headed by whom? Write the answer. Okay, everybody has given finance minister as the right answer, and yes, the finance minister is the correct option. If you want to read the details, who are the other members of the Financial Stability Council, for example, RBI members are also there. Then the SEBI chairman is also there. Different members are there, are the part of Financial Stability and Development Council, but it is headed by the finance minister of our country. Fine. Now the 18th question, GST rates levied in many brackets. Which of the following is the maximum GST rates applicable? Very easy questions. I added this question just because, you know, so that you are able to do it in a minimum amount of time. So just write down the answer. Which is the maximum GST rate applicable? Yes, Nilesh. Great. C. Very easy question. So there are different GST rates, and 5, 12, 18 and 28, and C is the highest. Fine. Yes, the Nilesh has added a very great information. The zero is also, if I ask you how many brackets are there in the GST, what is going to be your answer? 4 or 5? Tell me the answer. How many slabs are there in the GST? 4 or 5? Nilesh, 5. Anyone else who wants to write 4 also? Or you want to say 5 only? Shubham Gupta, 5 brackets. Yes, the answer is 5 because many aspirants get confused. Why they get confused? Because they usually skip the 0%. So this is first, second, third and fourth. There is 0% also. It is also considered as a slab because here there is no GST. So 0% is. No, I was in hurry to prepare the PPT, so I did not notice, but the answer is going to be the 5. Fine. Now let us move on to the next question. The angel investors. Read the following statement and selects the, read the following statement and select the most incorrect statement from below. Okay, so everybody is giving B and D, two type of answers I'm getting. Please make sure that you read the question correctly. It is asking about the incorrect statement. Fine. So the correct answer of this question is going to be the B answer. So why B option is the correct option? Because we all know the difference between the angel investors and the venture capitalists. Angel investors who usually establish in the small startups, whereas the venture capitalists, the well-established businessmen who invest in the businesses only, the businesses that have huge potential to growth. So the answer is going to be the B, where angel investor mainly in established business, whereas VC established mainly startups. This is the wrong option because the facts have been interchanged. Fine. So now let us move on to the last question for today, which is the 28th question. What are the ways to raise capital via online mode where you can bypass the regulations? Think carefully and answer. Very, very easy question. Easy, straightforward. You all can answer it. Just read it carefully. Everybody is writing A as the answer. That's great. That's great. Anyone else? Great. Everyone is writing A as the answer. Let me tell you that A is the wrong answer of this question. Yes, Journey with Jay is the only person in the chat box who has given the right answer, which is C. Now everybody has changed their answers to C. And the correct answer of this question is going to be C. This peer-to-peer lending platform where there are peer-to-peer lenders, I mean this platform acts as an intermediator where the lenders and the borrowers meet, and then the transaction happens and these platforms earn through the fees, and this mechanism is regulated by is the lending to NRIs. When you are lending to NRIs, then in that case what happens? The banking institutions are directly involved, so that institution is also controlled by RBI. You cannot bypass it easily. The next is financial lease. We know the leasing agreements, the specified terms and conditions that are involved, that also cannot be the right answer because you cannot bypass the regulation easily. Everything is written there in the contract. The fourth, venture capitalists. Venture capitalists are well-established businesses who invest in the other businesses that has potential to grow, and that's how they earn. I mean, this is the layman definition for the venture capitalist. So these venture capitalists are registered, so they cannot bypass the regulation easily. So that cannot also be the right answer. The correct answer is going to be the crowdsourcing, because what happens in case of crowdsourcing? If I want to collect the funds, if I want to, let us say I want to start a business, I want to crowdsource funds from the public. What I can do? I can just give my bank account, and a number of people will start transferring their fund to my bank account, and I can take the money from the foreign sources also, all such type of things. But the thing is that you can bypass the regulations. If we remove the foreign factor, if we consider the domestic factor only, then you can easily bypass the regulations as compared to these ones, because this is not something that is directly regulated and can be bypassed easier as compared to the other options. So C is going to be the right answer for this. I hope this is clear to you. Now we are done with the session, and if you like the session, you can write it in the comment box, and that is something that is the only thing that I can say. So thank you so much, and I hope the session was helpful for you. So all the best for your exam. Give your best, do not be anxious, and believe in yourself, and I know that you are going to excel and you are going to deliver fruitful results. Great. Yes, PDF of the session will be provided. Do not worry. Yesterday's session also, I mean that PDF will also be shared. I forgot to share it with the support team, but I will share both. I will share both the PDF today. Fine. So great. Thank you so much and all the best. So if there is any doubt, let me go through the chat box for once. No doubts, no questions. So now I'm ending the stream. So thank you so much and have a good day.